Hello, I hope this video finds you well. Tonight we're going to look at sum67 from list 2, and this is the Python solution. The problem states return the sum of the numbers in an array except ignoring sections of numbers starting with a 6 and extending to the next 7. Every 6 will be followed by at least one 7. We want to return 0 for no numbers. And we can look at the examples here, and we see that this has no 6s or 7s, so we see 1 plus 2 plus 2 gives me 5. And here we see we have a 6 and a 7. So what we do is we add the 1, the 2, the 2. You see we have a 6, so we stop adding, not adding. Then we see a 7, and we start to add, but not the 7, it's the value after it. So the sum is the 1, 2, 2. In this third example, we can see that's a 1, so we add it. A 1, it's added. A 6, so we stop adding. A 7, so now we're going to start adding again, plus 2, so we get 1 plus 1 plus 2. Now, I haven't approached 0 here, and you'll see a comment in the comment section, a link to a video. So I had a suggested approach that I completed. It's a little bit more complex, and if you're interested in taking a look at it, you can click on that video. It's a nice opportunity to compare Java and Python. But in this video, we're just going to look at one approach and what I think is the most efficient approach here. And what is that approach? Well, what we're going to do is we're essentially going to go through the list and do a standard sum. But I'm going to have a flag variable that's going to tell me whether or not to add it. And let me act it through here. So if this list here is nums, when we start, we're going to have a variable called count, and that's going to be set to true. I want to just comment in my solution here as I do this. So we see count is set to true, and then the first thing I do is I say, are you a 6? And if you're not a 6, this is here, I'm going to say, okay, is count false? And is nums.I equal to 7? So basically, I'm checking, is this a 7, and are we in a non-count state? So we found a 6 already, and if that's the case, we set count to true. Otherwise, we check if count is true, and we just simply add it. So in this case, count is true. It's not a 6, so we add it. So we see our sum is going to be 1. Then we move to the next one. It's not a 6. Count is true, so we add it, so we have 3. It's not a 6. Count is true, so we add it, and we see that it's going to get 5. Now, we go to this point, and we see that this is a 6, and we see our first conditional statement here, which is right there. So what that does is that's going to reset count to false. And now count is false, and we're going to skip past the rest of this, and we're going to go to the next one. You're not a 6. Count is false, but that's not a 7. And count is false, so we skip all of these conditions, and we go to the next one. This is not a 6. Its count is false, but it's not a 7, so we skip the second one, and count isn't true, so we skip this last one, and so we move forward. Now when we get to this point, what happens is, you're not a 6, so we skip the first if, but now what we see is count is false, and this is a 7. So what we do is we change this back to true, and then we move on to the next one. And so in that last one we see, you are not a 6, count is not equal to false, and it's not a 7. And since count is true, we add it, so we add that. So we get 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. And I hit go, and there it is. This problem highlights a really interesting approach, and that is this idea of a flag. And what a flag is it's some sort of variable that keeps track of a state that we make a decision on. And in this case, we just have this count flag that's simply set to true or false, and then based on that, we make a decision. This is a really great problem. Again, at the start of this video, I talked about this other approach. So what people will try as well is sometimes they'll set up a loop within a loop where when they find a 6, they'll use a loop to continue on to the next 7. And that's a really interesting approach, but it does present some challenges with Python if you try and do it with a for I in range loop. And you can see that in this video here where I look at that approach in both Python and Java. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.